Hello everyone, and welcome to a special episode of Prismata. I know I don't normally start these videos in the middle of a game, much less a game that I'm not even playing in, but as the title may have suggested to you, this isn't actually a normal Amaloy Plays Prismata video. Rather, I'm planning to spoil the one of the new upcoming units that's coming out in the next few days, Elliot tells me. And I thought I'd look around on the Prismata client, see if there were any games that might, going on right now that might, like, I don't know, inspire anything interesting. I think this would be a cool game for our new unit. And in a moment we'll cut away, but and see the actual unit. But so it's sort of like a green defender, almost like an infusion grid, kind of like a doomed wall. Maybe a little bit like Energy Matrix, you know. So I thought it might fit in pretty well here with like a ton of green and no, you know, maybe it's synergized as well as Zatron. I don't know. Anyway, so all that said, let's I'm gonna go ahead and mute the sounds for this game so we can look away at the new unit. But I'm gonna leave the leave my client looking at this game so that we can come back and see. Look at the game after it's over, perhaps, once we're done looking at the new unit. So, without further ado, here comes the new unit, Innervi Field. So, it is a green, mono-green blocker, prompt blocker, in fact. Relatively cheap at 4 green. And it's really, like, quite complicated. There's a lot going on with this unit. More than you usually see with something like wall or force field, right? They're pretty simple. Once you build them, they just do something. It's got lifespan 3, and so my first question about this, which I didn't actually ask, it was a question I had for myself, and then I figured out the answer, is like, how many turns is it alive, right? It's pretty obvious, lifespan 3, right? But does that count the turn you build it? I was thinking of other prompt units like Grimbotch, for example. Sorry, other lifespan units, not other prompt units. I don't remember what I said. Grimbotch has lifespan 4, but this doesn't include the turn that you're building it, right? You build it, and then next turn it appears with lifespan 4, so it's alive that turn. Oh, look at that. The game's over. Okay, well, I'm just going to open up the replay so that it'll stop playing that victory music. Okay. It's... Right, a Grimbotch, you make it, and it has lifespan 4 the next turn, so, like... And then it's alive for 4 turns, not including the turn where you built it. But this one's prompt. How many turns is it alive for? And I tried to remember, are there any prompt lifespan units to compare this to? Yes, Doomed Wall, right? So Doomed Wall, its lifespan starts at 3 the turn you build it, and the next turn it does indeed go down to 2. So you get 3 turns you can defend with it, including the turn that you built it. So if it were just like 3 health, lifespan 3, not a very good unit. Sort of more... this price is about the same as Wall, so it wouldn't be awful. It's a slightly different... It's like a Wall that fits into a different kind of tech cost. But it's better than that, because it has this, at the start of turn, restore 1 health, up to a maximum of 5 health. So, sort of, you know, the same ability that Zatron and... What's that guy called? Mahar Rectifier. Same ability that they have. But smaller, right? So my first reaction upon reading this unit was, well, it's kind of like, it's soak that you would prefer to build ahead of time, but that you can defend promptly with if necessary, right? This unit is clearly getting best value for money if you build it 2 turns before you need it and defend with it while it's dying as soak, because you get 5 health out of it, and then some other unit gets its absorb value as well, which is great, right? You know, this ignores the fact that you're wasting 4 green for 2 turns, and so that's not always the best way to use this unit, but in an ideal world, that's how you would like to use it. What else did I have to say to Elliot when I first saw this unit? I said, I guess if you get a train of them going, they're even a decent prompt absorber, maybe. So what I had in mind, and I'm not sure how good this would be, is suppose you built one of these every turn, right? It's a lifespan unit, so your immediate thought is like, well, build one every turn, and, you know, do something special with it on the turn that it dies. In the same way that Grimbotch is like, you build one every turn, attack with them for a while, then defend. These guys, you'd like to build one every turn, let them do nothing for a while, and then defend. But you could try building one prompt. Like, let's say you're going red-green, right? Red's best absorber is Rhino, which, like, really sucks. If you can arrange to have, say, 2 green per turn, you can build one of these every turn. And while it would be nice to wait a while, a red-green game is probably pretty high pressure, right? So you might need to defend with it right away. But you can treat it as your absorber, instead of soaking with it and then absorbing on Rhino. Like, let's say you build it prompt. You could just sack it for 3 and absorb 1 on Rhino. That's okay. But something you could try, and I don't know how good it would be to absorb on this unit, right? Take just 2 damage on it, not 3. And then it's still at 1 health, so next turn it'll recover extra health. And you build another one. Now you have 1 at 3 health and 1 at 1 health. Sorry, 1 at 2 health. You could then absorb, you know, soak with the 2 and absorb onto the 3 if you have to. Or if you can find some way to avoid soaking with your 2, you could just absorb on this again. And now you have 1 with 3 health, lifespan 1. 1 with 2 health, lifespan 2. And you build another one, it's got 3 health as well, lifespan 3. And now you can soak with a 3 health guy and absorb onto a 3 health guy. And it's starting to feel a little bit like an energy matrix kind of thing, like where you're well, not really energy matrix, right? Because you're sort of absorbing for 5 in a way, which is a little bit better. But of course you have to pay 4 green every turn for this privilege. But it's like, seems like it could be pretty good. It's like a compromise between the super high value play of delaying it for 2 turns and the fairly crummy play of just soaking with it immediately. So those were my thoughts on the unit. Elliot had a few things to say as well. Points out that it's way better than Rhino as an absorber. So, you know, thinking about that red-green game. Even if you're not soaking with it, if you're absorbing with it, like I was saying, it's quite good. And he pointed out, like, how it interacts with chill and threat in a really, it sounds very complicated. It's like, suppose there's a game with a bunch of chill, like say Frostbrooder, and a threat, optional attack that you might not use. I don't know, like probably not Omega Splitter. That was the first threat I could think of. Nitrocides, kind of, although meh, not really. Like I'm sure there's threat. What? Wincer, maybe even? Like sometimes you don't attack with Wincer. I just can't think of good threat units. What's that red guy? Smorkus? You know, units like that you might attack with and you might not. So this can sort of play around that. You build it prompt to defend against their threat, and if they don't actually use the threat, then you get the value of, hey, it was worth more health. Haha, sucks to be you, right? You didn't make me use this. But then it's like, okay, there's chill, right? If you wait too long to use them, your opponent can freeze them and you get no value at all, aside from making them use their freeze, right? So it seems like it could be a really tough to figure out how to defend it with it, how to attack against it, especially if there's like attack you don't have to use, and especially if there's chill. It's complicated enough, honestly, in just like a Tarsier Rhino game. Figuring out like how long ahead of time can you afford to build it and all of this stuff. So I haven't played any games with this unit. I am not a Grand Luminary or whatever the tier is where you get to play on the preview server. But so I can't say. I'd like to see how it turns out. I'm excited. Apparently the new units are coming out in the next couple of days, is what Elliot tells me. So pretty soon. One thing that surprised me, by the way, is this start of turn restore 1 up to a maximum of 5. I don't totally understand why they've written up to a maximum of 5, because it has lifespan 3. It'll die before it gets any higher than that, right? So, not sure what the deal is there. Maybe it's just like because all the restore 1 health units... Oh, of course! Of course. It's because otherwise it would only restore up to 3. Sure. And they could have written up to a maximum of 10, but that would be silly because it dies before it gets any higher than 5. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I asked Elliot why, and he didn't have an answer. He didn't answer because he was away, and I just said, never mind, I get it. Okay, now I understand why it has that. So let's go look at oh, you know what? I should let's switch to Prismata here again, just to look at this game that happened between Will and, who's the other person? I don't have it. Sarika. So let's see if I can be like a super amazing image or video person, and let's just put this new unit right here. Okay, let's put it right here. I don't know. It's not taking up much interesting space there. Right? So would this unit actually be good in this game? I think so. I think it'd be pretty cool, right? It would be a good excuse to get more green, which you already kind of want for Zatron and Sinestra, but eventually you might very well get to the point where you can't afford to build Sinestras. I don't know. So I would think you could get Innervi Field here. And I guess you would want Sinestras then. You probably would not get a Blast Forge, maybe just one Ferritin Sack or something to let you get like a wall. Oh, let's put the sound back on. I don't know. So, like, there are probably some turns here. Like, especially in Sarika's plan, where, like, he doesn't get the Zatron right away. He goes for Sinestras. Oh, he won. I was gonna say, wouldn't this build be so much better if he had Innervi Fields? Well, apparently not, huh? Okay. I guess you just win anyway, huh? I guess if you're attacking for 8 per turn and your opponent doesn't have any attackers, he's in pretty bad shape. Maybe Will would have done better with Innervi Fields, huh? I don't know. These trendy drones seem pretty greedy to me. Maybe that, you know, cut this to build another attacker or another defender while you like try to ramp up some attack somehow. I don't know. I think maybe just Will just went too greedy is what it looks like to me. But I'm excited to see what kinds of games this fits well in and how it transforms those games. Looking forward to the new unit release. Not going to play any games this episode. This is just a special breaking news alert on the new unit. So with that, we've kind of finished looking over the unit. I guess we're done. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.